Deshaun Watson, the way this whole press conference was set up, the blanket reason that they can't get into details is there's an ongoing investigation. We'd love to. I'd be happy. Nothing would please me more than answering these questions as specifically as you like. Unfortunately, our hands are tied. There's an ongoing investigation. This is what I want to know from the Browns and Deshaun Watson. And then, I'll hold my tongue, right? When will you agree now to set up a press conference where we can all ask questions once this is resolved? Like, do you commit to that now? Because what winds up happening is with the ongoing investigation, we can't commit, blah, blah, blah. I'm innocent. Then you settle out of court, whatever. A lot of these cases, well, there's non-disclosure. Or else people ask questions about it and it's almost considered rude. Like, that's old stuff. I'm focused on the future. These things are fine for me, Chris, Jay, as long as the time comes when we get back together and ask these questions now that you can answer them.
Yeah, let me tell you what's not going to happen, Max. They're not going to have a press conference even after they settle these 22 pending civil lawsuits. It's not going to happen, and it'll always be an excuse, whether it's the NDAs, whether it's actual football that's going on. They can just run the line of this is the organization moving forward with Deshaun Watson. Now, I think the clearing of the criminal cases, both in Harris County and Brazoria County, that paved the way for the Cleveland Browns to get aggressive and try to make the move, because ultimately, if there's no criminal case, Deshaun Watson is going to play in the National Football League again.
Right.
And I think the Cleveland Browns settled on, okay, this is the situation. If he's going to play again, why not for our franchise when we're not sold on our franchise quarterback, Baker Mayfield? So I can understand how they got to this point. What I don't understand, Max, is if you make a $230 million commitment to a quarterback and you guarantee that amount of money, how the hell are the owner and his wife not at the press conference with the general manager and Kevin Stefanski? Like, people need to understand, when you guarantee that amount of money in the National Football League, that is the owner writing a $230 million check to be put in escrow and paid out according to the schedule of the contract. That's the reality of it. Now, listen, Jimmy Haslam might have a bunch of B's, but anytime you make a $250 million commitment, you probably want to stand in front of that and be around that, because you want to get the return on investment. And the fact that they weren't there and they did a separate Zoom saying that they were comfortable with the findings from the investigation, that part rubs me the wrong way. You can't defer to your football operations people in that situation, because we all know that's an ownership decision.
Andrew Berry's tried it out there to take the shots and the owners hide and then do a Zoom later. I agree with you, Chris. That's not the right way to handle it.
Nah.
I was a professional athlete, obviously playing with the Bulls. I've had surgeries, 13-plus surgeries. I've had 2 massage therapists my entire life. I've had one that got vetted throughout the entire Bulls organization. It was the top tier, same one that worked with Michael Jordan. And then my one now that I've had, her name is Erin. She's with the New York Knicks. I work out there just because I've had so many issues. And we literally set up milestones. Hey, like, here are my goals that I'm working on this month as it relates to stretching and physical therapy and massage therapy, right? Like, all these different things. And we hit these milestones. The fact that you've had 22 massage therapists that you've gotten through social media, me as a professional athlete, I'm like, wow.
You're not going to hit any milestones.
Yeah, that's not on the
22?
Jay, that's not on the up and up, man. When are you reaching out to massage therapists on Instagram through DMs? Like, that doesn't happen. Something about that doesn't pass the smell test.
It doesn't
when it comes to Deshaun Watson. Because, like I said, I played in the NFL 11 years, and 3 different teams. On all of those teams, there are a handful of massage therapists that work with all the guys in the locker room. So when you go to a new team, who's your massage therapist? You start working with that individual, because it's a very specific form of treatment that professional athletes need in order to get their bodies right and prepare for games. You don't find that type of expertise on Instagram. That's just not where it happens at. That's not where those relationships are developed. So for me, it's something about it doesn't pass the smell test. But Max, I do think it's a slippery slope when we have the presumption of guilt based on the sheer number of accusations.
I disagree with that.
Sexual misconduct.
Go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry. I disagree with that last part.
I'm not saying he's guilty.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying you're saying that.
But Cece, when there's 22 people and their stories are all unique and different, and you see the history, the pattern, it presents a challenging case.
Pattern, no question about it.
It presents a challenging
Let's talk about the difference between the criminal and a civil suit, right? Criminal suit, the burden of proof is beyond a reasonable doubt, right? You have to be really sure this happened. A civil suit, you just a preponderance of the evidence. You 51-49.
More likely than not.
So, but in the court of public opinion, Chris, the presumption of innocence is a legal presumption. In the court of public opinion, if it was he said, she said, let's wait till the facts come out. If it's she said, he said, she said, I understand. If it's he said, and she said, and she said, and each one of this is a person, an individual, and she said 22 times, you have to turn off a part of your brain not to think something's going on here.
Well, here's the thing, Max. I'm not saying that there's not something going on. What I'm saying is, I'm uncomfortable saying that Deshaun Watson is guilty of sexual assault or sexual misconduct just based on the sheer number.
Agreed, but
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
I'm with you. I'm just saying you got a lot of explaining to do,
Yeah,
right?
you
Like a
do,
lot
you-
of explaining
you
to do.
You do, Max, but here's the other thing that I will say. The fact that there wasn't an indictment when it came to the cases in Harris County and Brazoria County, like the grand jury saw whatever evidence that was out there and said, we can't move forward with this case, even taking it to a trial. I think that says something about the actual evidence that's out there. That's why I think it's a slippery slope.
But
to
some
just
crimes are hard.
presume that he's guilty.
Some crimes are hard to prove.
Fair.
When two people are alone, one of the reasons one might set up a situation one-on-one in private is whatever happens is difficult to document, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that, and that's why you understand why criminally maybe it doesn't go forward. But the civil cases might, and more important, the court of public opinion is like, come on, man. It's 22 different women saying the exact same thing. You heard Jake Trotter in that clip. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.